welcome to a Novel Console, another very special Games and Stuff episode. This week, I am joined by honorary third ANC member, Thrak, also known as a secondary host or second host of the 3DO Experience podcast. Thrak, how are you doing?
I'm doing really good. How are you doing?
I am tired of shit. I am fucking exhausted.
Yeah, I think you're so tired you forgot the term co-host.
Co-host?
Yeah, I'm the co-host of the 3DO show.
Right, I said secondary host. I mean, it's the same shit, right?
I mean, yeah, but co-host rolls off the tongue better.
It kind of does.
It has more authority to it, not just like, oh, I'm the guy who shows up and Bill does all the work, you know.
Right, have Bill make the episode structure, the fucking script, play the game, and Thrak just sits there and makes jokes.
Yeah, he reads the Wikipedia article. I commentate about it.
Hey, so we're talking Gears 5. We're finally done with Gears.
For now.
And holy shit, this game was mid as fuck.
Well, okay, before we get into the game, I have one issue with this game.
Okay.
That bugs me. It's the elephant in the room. Well, I have my lovely steelbook right here.
Right.
But the issue is the title.
Okay.
Why drop the of war?
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Like, I read about it. Apparently, their whole idea behind it was people don't use the of war like in colloquial senses. So they're like, why don't we just drop it? Everybody calls it Gears anyways. But it's like when Devil May Cry had that reboot and they called it DMC. Right. You know? It's just no. Like, use the full official title. You know, it's like instead of calling it The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, if they just called it Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It just doesn't, it sounds wrong, you know? It sounds off. Like, we use shorthand all the time, but when you're officially doing a mainline entry, I think you should have the Gears of War 5 instead of Gears 5. Like, I don't like that. It feels, what do the kids say? It gives me the ick.
Yeah. I get it, but it's also like the company trying to, what's it called? Be like the fans and call it what the fans call it, which I don't think they should do that. That's just weird.
I think the title almost kind of represents the idea of this game, which is them trying to change some things up. Because really the whole feel of Gears 5, I think you would agree with me, Chris, is that after Gears 4, there was a lot of complaints about it being too samey. So with Gears 5, there is some experimentation going on in terms of like level design. Like they changed some control bump, like some of the controls are changed a little bit. There's some other additions here and there, and some of them work, but also some of them don't. So it adds up to... A lot of them don't. Yeah, so it adds up to, it's not as tight of an experience as, say, Gears 4 was, but there are certain things about this game I liked more than 4, but we'll get into that as we go on. But if I was to recommend, like, a modern Gears game for people to play, I would probably recommend 4, because 4 was just such a really tight, linear experience that was just fantastic. And Gears 5 is trying to stretch. You know, it's trying to be ambitious, I guess. But I think overall it didn't work as much as they were hoping, I guess.
Right. I honestly, let's get the scores out of the way. I gave this a 7.5 out of 10. I think this is the lowest, right? No, I think I gave...
No, I think Judgment was lower.
Judgment was lower? Let me see. Gears 4 was 8. Judgment was a 6. Okay. Yeah. So this was only 1.5 higher than Judgment. And
I mean, it's much better than Judgment. I think our 6 for Judgment was because you, me, and Burger played it together, and we had a fun time in that regard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But there's also like a bunch of changes that were unnecessary. The open world segments were fucking terrible. There
weren't that many of them. There were just those two little spots. And to be fair, we didn't really explore them that much. But the game, it is a little confusing with how it sets up the open world stuff, because you'll have, like, say, the compass and then the little star saying, oh, that's where you need to go. But they'll sometimes have other, like, stars, and it's like, oh, maybe it's over there. And then you go to a different star, and it's like just like a little side quest, quote unquote, where you just go into a room, kill like one big enemy, take an item or some piece of lore, and go back. You know? Right.
And that I could have done without that 100%. I didn't need that in a Gears of War game.
Yeah, I would agree. I did like the skiff, the little vehicle that we rode. I like the whole, like, you're just riding on like a giant wind kite. Like, I thought that was cool. I'd like it'd be cool for like year 6. Maybe there's like a little side mode where like people race skiffs and it's like a little racing game. That'd be kind of cute.
So instead of Uncharted, it is Gears of Carts.
Yeah. Why not? Hey, if Uncharted ain't gonna do it, jump on it, Coalition. I assume they're listening to the show.
Of course they are. Before we continue, this game was released on Windows and Xbox One, and it's available on Series X and S, and it's on Game Pass. So if you pay the $20 a month for Game Pass, you can beat it in a couple of days. It's a game. It's okay. I think after the fact of beating it, this is the one game that I've been the most on, apart from Judgment, because they fucked around with the controls, which were perfect to start with, and they just completely decided to fuck with them for no fucking reason. They changed the chainsaw on the Lancer to one of the bumpers instead of leaving it at the B button. So sometimes I would be running up to an enemy thinking I was going to chainsaw him, and no, you start doing that stupid little knife animation that does literally no damage at all to enemies.
Yeah, it's funny that like the knife that the cogs get is such like a puny little knife.
Right.
But if you think about it, they give you the knife for story reasons.
I don't remember.
When we get to the story, I'll mention it to you again. But yeah, that part was kind of weird. I don't think they explained why you have a knife now. Like, we've gone this whole series without having them, where with melee you would either chainsaw an enemy or you just hit him with like your Gnasher or your torque bow or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, like adding the knife, except for one little story bit, it doesn't add to the game at all. It just felt like they just did it to do it. But personally, I got used to holding RB for the chainsaw like pretty quickly.
I mean,
it didn't bug me that
at
much.
The end, but those first few hours, I would say even halfway through the game, I was still pressing B to get the chainsaw going, and no, it wasn't working.
Yeah, it is a questionable change, but it's far from like the worst thing that this game does, as far as like changing things around a little bit.
The worst thing the game did was nerfing the Lancer.
Yes. It's like, I feel like it's more noticeable here than Gears 4.
Like, it's the staple gun from the series, and you're giving me this new version of it that shoots, like a fucking salvo of missiles that are fucking useless?
Yeah.
Or the Retro Lancer, which has the worst aiming or shooting in the entire fucking series. You're telling me that the fucking Hammerburst is better than the Lancer in this game?
The Hammerburst has been a consistent weapon throughout the series, where it's like if you use it throughout all the 5 games, it's actually not bad overall.
It's really good in this game. It's better, arguably better than the Lancer in this game.
Yeah. So it is a weird choice.
You're telling me the fucking Locust have a better gun than the Coalition?
Apparently they do.
Like, the fuck, man? I didn't like that at all.
Yeah. Outside of the open world segments, though, I think the more kind of linear moments where we're, say, like in the factories or in the more kind of like icy areas, I thought were pretty solid overall. Because the main theme of this game is ice and cold. like a good chunk of the game is, just you with like these heavy winter coats on, trudging through like tundras. It's almost like the intro to Rise of the Tomb Raider, where like the whole game, like the whole point, looking at the game from the outside, you're like, oh, this is probably a very winter themed game. It strips it away after a while, but it's an interesting choice, I think.
It was
what do you think about it?
It was a different change. I really liked the variety of places you get to see in this game. Even in the DLC, you get to see something that you have never seen in any Gears of War games before, and it all works to build up the world of Gears of War.
Yes, because to let the audience know, we did play Hive Busters, the DLC expansion. We can talk a little bit more about that later, but
yeah,
I think we enjoyed Hive Busters more than the main game.
Way more. I did enjoy that a lot more. Speaking of things that I didn't like, again, I didn't like how there was kind of a cadence to every single fight. You would have your dick monkeys come out, which were the grubs. Then you would have some locusts come out. Yes, the wretches, the locust, and then you would have one of the special locusts that has a health bar. And then you would finish the fight with a swarm of those flying worms.
The flock.
Right. And that would be pretty much kind of every single encounter that you would have would be a variation of that.
It is. Now that you mention it, that does make a lot of sense. Yeah, every fight is, I mean, they're obviously all staged, but yeah, the way they're staged here, it's all the exact same thing. Yeah, you'll just be walking down the hall talking, and then it's like, oh, dude, wretches, or as we'd say, dick monkeys. And then, we'd blast those away, and then, oh, here comes some locusts. Here comes a pouncer. Or, oh, here comes this thing. And then, yeah, it's like a flock would show up, and either we get to kill it completely or it would just fly away. And it's like, oh, we'll see it again, even though there was really no point to getting to kill some of the flock and not some of the others. Like, it didn't really add up to anything. It was just like trying to throw some variety in there. It was very weird in that regard. Now that you mention it, I hadn't thought about it.
Yeah,
but yeah, that is kind of weird.
I started noticing that towards the end where I was like, oh, and now we're going to fight a fucking flock after we've spent all of our fucking bullets fighting all of these enemies. And yeah, another fucking flock shows in, and we're shooting at it and trying to shoot it with the hammer of dawn, and it's just moving all over the fucking place. And I really want Gear 6 to backpedal. I somewhat like the characters. I somewhat like where the story is going, but I don't like where the gameplay is going. It's going way too open world, even if it's semi-open world. It's losing its Gears charm.
Yeah, because I think the Gears
to explain it.
Yeah, well, I think the Gears charm was the older games. It was you're in these smaller, more compact kind of arenas, and you would have these enemies trying to like flank you and be really aggressive. And you, despite being a cover shooter, you were kind of always on your toes and having to move around. Whereas in 5, and probably 4 to a lesser extent, you would have like you could just sit in the same spot of cover the whole time, pop out, shoot a couple people, and then you'd be fine. There wasn't enough variety, I think, in the gameplay as much as the first 3, as weird as it is. I do agree with you. I think the story is so much better because, as I showed Chris, like the front cover of Gears 5 is just Kate's face. Mm-hmm. They sort of fixed the issue with 4, and they know who the main character is this time. It is Kate, and she is there basically the whole time. There's a little bit at the start where you're JD and Dell. Like, I think it's like a little bit of that for like the first half of the first act, I think. And then like some shit happens to JD. I don't know. I don't even remember what happens to him exactly, but like he just like, I guess he went to the barber, asked for a little off the top, and just didn't go too well. So he's like, well, I guess I got to grow a beard now since I'm bald on the top. And he gets like these. Oh, that's right. I think he's like in some like explosion or some shit happens to him, and it like messes with him, or like they try to change JD's character, which I think was a good idea because I think most people were on the side of you and me, which is not really caring for him in 4. Here, I think they try to make him a bit more of like a serious character that's like struggling with some stuff, but it feels half-assed because they're like, oh, what's going on with JD? And then you see him and he's a little bit more serious than before, but by the end of the game, he's still pretty like just hanging out as normal. He's still making quips and shit. It's just
if he makes it.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. But they did the thing where it's like he's more of a side character this time around, and
which is great,
which is fine. It helps put the focus on Kate and Del, who are like the two characters everybody likes. Like that's who you are most of the time is the two of them, and it's following more Kate's journey at the end of 4, where at the end of 4 she's like, oh, I got to go after my grandmother, who is the Locust Queen. And then as you're going through the story, Kate gets these weird like these like horrible headaches that are just like giving her hallucinations, and she's like, you know, having these like weird freakouts, and it would happen in the middle of some boss battles as well, like the one where we were fighting that like ice demon where we had to shoot the floor.
Yep. To
drown
berserker. Yep.
Yeah, which I actually kind of liked that fight.
That fight was good.
It was fun. It was challenging, but it was fun. And
I feel like it got
I always have to be
sometimes.
like, yes, but in the middle of that, I'd have to say like, hold on, I'm being schizophrenic. Give me a second, and then
right.
Yeah, because I guess you find out that because Kate's mother is like directly related to the Locust Queen, I guess this gives the Locust Queen some form of like hive mind power over Kate. I guess. I think that's what they're trying to go for. It's probably explained decently well. It's just, you know, when you're playing a co-op game, you're maybe not paying as much attention to the story as you should. But there definitely was something where they were trying to imply that, you know, Kate has some connection to the Locust hive mind, and that the Locust Queen is trying to use that connection to either like get her to join their side or destroy the cog from within or something like that, I think. But at the end you find her mother, who has become much more of like a Locust like queen, and you fight her like at the end of the game as more of like kind of a boss type character, and she's the one where the what you were alluding to, the choice. 'Cause this is a weird thing Gears 5 does. It feels like that must have been much more of a thing back in like, you know, 2019 or 2018, where it was like in the middle of the story, they're like, oh, you have this big choice, quote unquote, big choice.
It was a big choice.
Yeah. So basically, spoilers. It's a new enough game, so I can say spoilers. There's a part where Kate's mom is essentially with these weird locust tentacles that she has. She's a hentai monster. She's choking out Del and JD in two different like tentacles, and then she gives the knife to Kate and basically says, you know, save one. So you have to choose to save Del or JD. So naturally we save JD. No, I'm just kidding. We save Del. Fuck JD.
You save Del. Fuck JD.
And so, yeah, so we saved Del, and then, yeah, we watched JD. He gets his neck snapped.
Yep.
And Chris it was like New Year's over at Chris's house. He was just having a ball.
Oh, yeah. There were fireworks going off and everything. Like, the neighbors were, like, out in their cars just doing peel-outs and shit. It was a whole-ass block party when JD died.
They're like, we don't even know who JD is, but yeah,
but
fuck
he's
that
dead.
guy.
Yay.
Fuck that guy.
Yep.
And
I feel like the JD death is good for the series. Okay, this is gonna sound like I don't like Del, but I love Del. Del is probably my favorite, and then Kate, and then Marcus. Actually, Del, Marcus, and Kate. But it feels like if you would have killed off Del in this game, it wouldn't have had any sort of deep impact or any motivation for any of the characters. Like JD would have been sad because his best friend died. Kate would have been sad because his best friend died. Marcus would have been sad because another cog died. But when you kill JD, you know, you kill Kate's potential love interest, you kill Dell's potential best friend, and you kill Marcus's son that he hates so much, and you give him that freedom of not having such a fucking terrible son. So I feel like it's good for the story to have JD die, especially with those unresolved issues that he had with Kate and his friends for when he decided to be a gear instead of being for their friends, because apparently that happened at some point in that time skip between his accident and when you come back up.
Oh yeah, because in the start, he like doesn't he like try to like quell some riot? Like he like orders like some Carmine to like,
so that's
settle down some riots.
That's before 4.
Okay.
Before 4, there were some riots going on, and him and a group of gears were tasked with keeping them in order, and they started getting a little bit rowdy, so he told his gears to shoot the unarmed civilians, and that caused a rift between the friends.
Yeah, and JD is still kind of like living with that, realizing he's, unknowingly, or at least I think that's what they try to imply, that he murdered some civilians without really realizing what he was doing, and it's almost as if his death is meant to sort of what's the word, redeem him a little bit, because like if you have Dell die, right, like I guess we can assume which one they're going to canonize for year 6. If like Dell dies, like everybody's bummed, but it feels like there's no weight to it,
Right.
Whereas with JD dying, it's a chance for him to almost like redeem himself from the actions in the older games, and that as much as it sucks, it further explores Marcus's like pain, because
Right.
despite his our joking of him hating JD and everything, like think about how much Marcus has gone through, and then imagine losing like your fucking son, even if like you're not the biggest fan of him. Still, that's like another big fucking loss,
Right.
on top of everybody else. Like, I mean, Gear 6 could really explore some of like the psychological trauma that Marcus probably could be going through if they choose to canonize JD's ending, which could be, something really interesting.
I hope they do, because like we've been saying for the past like 5 minutes, there's so much that the story can gain from JD dying permanently.
Yeah.
You have Marcus dealing with his loss. Maybe Marcus makes a big sacrifice and finally dies in 6. Kate and Dell have to deal with them not really forgiving their friend for him killing innocent civilians when he was snot-nosed COG platoon leader. There's a lot that can be gained story-wise by killing off JD. And the fans would also be happy that they don't have a fucking Nathan Drake gear, which it's God, man, that's such a fucking stupid archetype of a character.
Yeah. I will give them credit in 5. They do try to put that like down. They don't overdo it like they did in 4.
Right.
But yeah, the story I'd say this time around is a lot better than 4. I'm much more interested in what's going on, and it feels like they try to explore Kate more in depth as well, which I was thinking about it, and Kate is probably one of my favorite like female protagonists, in terms of the fact that her gender never really comes into play. Because with a lot of female characters, especially in video gaming, their gender sort of is a factor. I mean, you have some examples, like for a long time, Samus, it wasn't a big deal, but then you have characters like Lara Croft or Bayonetta, where like it's you are reminded that they are a woman, for better or for worse, right? But with Kate, they rarely ever bring it. I don't think they ever bring it up. I don't think they ever have a scene with Kate where like some dude is just like, oh, this woman is in a cog suit and gonna fight Locust. Is she strong enough? And then she like has to like break his neck or something to be like, I'm fucking tough enough, you dumb shit. And they're like, okay. They never do that. Like the faux female empowerment bullshit. It's just accepted. that she is part of this group of cogs who can take down the Locust. There's never any question about it, which I admire that. It's, in a weird way, it's one of the best examples of writing a female character in a game where she's not a female character. She's just a character. You know what I mean?
Right. And I like that. I prefer that over the whole, and not to say that I didn't like it, because I actually thought it was kind of cool. The whole we are the superhero women in Avengers taking the Infinity Stones and running away with it because the man can't do anything.
Yeah, because in a way, I think that's pandering to like the other side, and it's,
right. And
I feel like that's almost as insulting, to where it's like you have to be like talked down to be like, oh, you're powerful too.
And like the thing is, I can see how it can feel like being talked down to and pandering. Personally, I thought it was cool because, you know, I prefer to play as a woman in a video game because, you know, they're better to look at than looking at a sweaty dude, right? And it's also really cool to see a woman just kill an entire room of people and then just walk out as if nothing happened, you know, like in Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I thought that scene was cool in Avengers, but I can see how it could be pandering.
Yeah.
And I like how in Gears, there's no mention of, like you said, Kate being a woman. She's just another Gear.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to see like an actual woman's take on this, personally.
Right.
Because like they also don't sexualize Kate at all. She's in giant ass cog armor. There's nothing like they don't even do the thing where it's like they leave a little space in like, you know, the middle for
cleavage.
Just like the teeny. Yeah, they don't even do that, which I think is great. I'm perfectly fine with it, and it normalizes it in a way that it just exists, and you're fine with it. It's the same with like they don't mention like Dell being, you know, a black man or anything like that. There's really no discrimination in the Gears universe at all. It's just we're human, which I like. I do like. I
feel like the only character that would discriminate would be what was his name? Otto, the Kate's uncle, and it's just because he's a drunk, but he gets killed. So
that is true. That is true. He gets killed essentially by Kate, because when Kate is getting hive mind controlled, because I just remembered her mother actually becomes the new Locust Queen because we killed the Locust Queen last time. There are times where you are taking over locusts as Kate, and you're running around as a locust, and you're like, I can't stop it. I can't do anything. So, you know, there's that aspect in there as well. But I think if you take Gears 5 story and put Gears 4 like game design in it, or maybe even Gears 3 game design, I think you'd have something. Yeah, I think you'd have something really, really special with it. Because like, yeah, I don't find Gears 5 the worst one. I don't find it the best one either. But
like I said, like I love 1, I love 2, I love 3. I liked 4, but this one just, it feels, I don't even want to say wrong. It feels strange. It almost feels
experimental.
Like it's very experimental, because it almost feels like Gears, but it feels like a version of Gears that I don't want. It doesn't even feel like a main Gears. It feels like a side story in the Gears universe.
It's almost like they're trying to make Gears more of a Sony IP. You know what I mean? Where you can feel that sort of like that God of War influence, that Uncharted influence starting to kind of seep in a little bit, which could maybe be because, you know, Xbox wasn't, you know, on it, you know, riding high like it was when Gears was in the 360 days. So maybe it's them trying to think we have to change with the times. But yeah, I kind of hope Gears 6 kind of just goes back to more, or does more just like what Hivebusters does. Because what makes Hivebusters work really well. Good. Yeah, because what makes Hivebusters work is that it was like 3-4 hours. It was a very short game. Right. And it was all character specific. It was these 3 new characters. Essentially, like these characters go on like suicide missions, like kind of on the side for the COG to do these, you know, just random shit. But all 3 of them were like like fun characters. You had these like really cool new jungle environments. The enemy encounters felt different and felt closer to like older Gears a little bit, not a huge amount. Um,
So
and
a lot of how Gears 5 felt to me, and I don't know if you're going to be able to echo this, but for example, there was that one part where Jack is breaking into a door. You're sitting right in front of the door, and there's waves of locusts and dick monkeys just coming at you nonstop. And once you kill them all, then Jack opens the door. I feel like that happens a lot, and it doesn't feel like you have to outsmart them. You just have to shoot fast enough and accurate enough to kill everything. It doesn't feel like there's any sort of tactics involved in it like the previous Gears did. But Hivebusters does that. Like the part at the beach where you're waiting for the evac to come and you have locusts coming from everywhere and they're trying to outflank you and outsmart you, and you just have to survive. You have to think about what you're doing. That felt like Gears, not the fucking sit in front of a door and just shoot as accurate as you can.
yeah, we were like running low on ammo. Like we were like
Right.
trying to scrounge whatever weapon we could. Because it's like in the older Gears games, like when you would wait for Jack to open a door, like they wouldn't stop. They would just keep going. And then eventually Jack would open the door and you just kind of run out of there. And this, as you're saying with the Horde at the start of Hivebusters, it was very much that. And it was a much different fight. And I think we noticed how much of a different fight it was. And it was really good. Like it was easily the highlight of Gears 5 kind of overall was that opening mission in Hivebusters, because you have like the three characters, they kind of like fall out the copter, right? And you're trying to find each other in the jungle. It's almost Predator-esque. And you find each other in the jungle and you're just trying to find that downed plane where all the other like COG members are, and then you get there, they're all dead. So and then they just start swarming you. Like it starts with the dick monkeys and it builds up to the locust. It builds up to the special locusts like normal, but they still all are still coming. Like the dick monkeys don't necessarily stop. It's just they add locusts to it and then they add the special locusts. It's not like, okay, this wave, then this wave, then this wave. They all just kind of stack together. And it did make for a really intense experience. I don't think, and then there's also the parts where you're riding on the door in like the lava river as
Right.
well. Like that stuff was really fun. The
that
set
was
pieces
very
in
Gears.
the set pieces in Hivebusters felt more closer to the original Gears than, because there really weren't any set pieces in 5. Not really. It was just they put more emphasis on like the big open world, the
Right.
big open areas where you're just kind of skiffing around. But Hivebusters felt closer to what like Gears 1 through 3 and probably even 4 were trying to be, which was just
Right.
linear shooters.
And I also really liked, this is a Gears 5 overall thing, including Hivebusters, how they kept the different kinds of ammo rolling in. There were times where I had full long shot bullets, where if a part came up where I had to use the long shot, I had enough to get through the entire part and still have enough ammo to carry over to the next part. And that scene in particular that you're talking about in the vault door where you're going down the lava river, that was great because you had on both sides of the river locusts popping up, and you would just pick them off with the long shot or with the lancer while the dick monkeys were trying to jump onto the door. It worked very well.
It felt more like a swarm instead of a set piece.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It felt like you were actually trying to survive, like in the old Gears.
Yeah, because I think in Gears 5, and I think this was also in Gears 4, we weren't getting that much long shot ammo. In fact, at a certain point in Gears 5, I just wasn't getting Gnasher ammo. Like the Gnasher just kind of disappeared. And so I just had to like get like a boom shot or just some other weapon. And it's almost like the game is forcing you to try other weapons, which, I mean, in like a game like Breath of the Wild, it kind of works. But here it's like you have the guns you like. You want to stick with those, maybe experiment here and there. But it
right?
was just kind of annoying not to have any Nasher ammo. But then we get the Hive Busters, and Nasher ammo's aplenty. It even felt like the Lancer was better balanced in Hive Busters. I
Yeah.
mean, it felt more like the original Gears type Lancer. Like, it wasn't the same, but it was closer than it was, say, in 4 and 5, where it's a little bit on the weaker side.
So I don't know if during development they were like, oh, people didn't really like this about 5. Let's try to fix it in Hive Busters. And while they didn't fix every single fucking issue that I had, particularly the controls, because even then in Hive Busters I was still pressing B for chainsaw, it did work a whole lot better.
Yes, but I hope that Hive Busters isn't seen as just like the original Gears ideas is more just a casual DLC side thing, where like the main game is going to be closer to like, say, what a Gears 5 would be. Because I guess the big rumor for Gears 6 that I saw a while ago was from Xbox Era's Special Nick, who he had heard that Gears 6 could be almost like a fuller, like a big, more open world kind of game. And he was kind of vague about it. Like, he wasn't saying it's not. He wasn't implying it's going to turn to like a Ubisoft game or anything like that. But he's like, what he's hearing is that Gears 5 or Gears 6 is going to be bigger in the open area scope thing than, say, a Gears 5. And I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I think
I think if the dev team, if they can fix a lot of the issues Gears 5 had with the more open stuff and make it more enjoyable, I'm all for it. But I am worried about them trying to go too far in that direction when, from what we've said and from what a lot of other people have said, like Hive Busters was much more a highlight than Gears 5 was overall, because it was a really nice, short, compact experience that felt closer to Gears of War 1 than anything else. And it was great. Like, the 3 characters, Matt, Keegan, and Lonnie, like, I liked all 3 of them. It felt like more of just like an action movie, essentially, because it was much shorter, and they go through the thing where it's like, oh, I hate you, but now they're like at the end, oh, I love you, I would die for you, you know, that kind of
right. And
shit.
that's what Gears that's what Gears is down at its heart, just an action movie. It's
exactly.
Just set pieces, shooting, killing, gore, destruction, fucking insanity. That's Gears. It's not let's go on a long fucking car ride from one side of the map to the other while we tell each other why we're so complicated.
Yeah, for sure. And looking at the Hive Busters like dev team, it is different people within the coalition than Gears 5. Like, Gears 5 was directed by Rod Ferguson, who, you know, was the big guy at the coalition. I think he's left coalition. I think he's at Blizzard now. Yeah, and the director of Hive Busters is Matt Searcy, who is credited, I hope I'm saying that right, and he's credited as a designer on Gears 5. So, I mean, if he's at the helm again and tries to do, you know, maybe something closer, like if they can mix up Gears 5 and Hive Busters, like kind of take the best of both and put them together, that could be something really cool. Because one thing Gears 5 did, a change that I liked, and I think you liked it as well, was the implementation of Jack. Because they tried to make Jack more of a character, I guess, because you find little pieces, like little components around the game that you can use to upgrade Jack's abilities, and he becomes more of an active participant in battle. Like, you can have him throw like shock traps.
He did help a lot with a bunch of the enemies, particularly the ones with the helmets that you had to shoot off and then only
the
shoot
wardens.
The
wardens.
Yeah.
I hate the wardens. Those guys
awful.
Suck. Yes.
So for Gear 6, I don't want it to be open world. I want it to just go back to linear. I don't care if you give me 25 hours of linear Gears of War. I prefer 25 hours of linear Gears of War than 15 hours of open world Gears of War. I don't want open world. Because this
game was longer than the other 4, I think, but not by like a huge amount.
It was longer because
just a little bit. It was like an extra like 2 or 3 hours, I think.
The thing about the open world for me is, and this is something that I have shied away from open world games after Cyberpunk, because Cyberpunk has been the only open world game that has done open world correctly, apart from Witcher 3, that I felt like it's been worthwhile exploring the open world.
Yeah.
And it's that the story beats happen, like for you to continue the story, you have to cross or go from one point of the map to the other. And there's like so much fluff and so much fucking artificial padding in just travel time from one story beat to the other that it just bores the fuck out of me. And then when it gets to the story and it's actually really fucking good, once it's done, I don't care. There's a giant lull between there and the next story beat, and then whatever the peak of that next story beat is. And that's what I don't like about open worlds. And then if they throw in missions for you to do, side missions, side quests, or whatever the fuck you want to call them, they will never, ever hit the heights of the main quest. And they will never be as good as you will find in any other game. Because I don't think that the Gears team can do a side quest that you will come out of the other side and be like, holy fuck, that was awesome.
It sounds like they're trying to do, the way you described it, it's almost like they want to do like a Western RPG kind of thing. Like a, topical, like a Starfield kind of thing. Because, I've been trying Starfield and I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I think I'm just not a Bethesda RPG guy. I just don't think I am. I've tried a bunch of them and they just don't click with me. They really don't. But I will say, Chris has bought me. He bought me Cyberpunk. He came through on that. And I will say, the little bit of Cyberpunk I played over Starfield, I think I liked Cyberpunk more.
And
something about it I played maybe 20 minutes of it. I made like 20 minutes of it.
It's like you put 2 hours into it and then you actually start Cyberpunk once you're done with like and
I put like 10 hours into Starfield, and I'm like, as I'm playing it, I'm just like, this isn't bad, but it's just not clicking with me. Like I was doing side stuff. I was exploring New Atlantis and trying to get into like that Bethesda loop, and some of the side stuff was neat because in New Atlantis, there's like a little underground kind of area, and there's this one lady who's like dealing with like power outages, and you got to help her, like you roam around and find junction boxes, and you get kind of intermingled with like the trade authority who she suspects is causing it, but then the trade authority's like, no, we're not causing it, it's somebody else or whatever. Like a lot of stuff is interesting, but I just think the Bethesda loop doesn't really click with my sensibilities. But like the little bit of Cyberpunk I played, something about it, I just found it more interesting, and I don't really know why. Maybe it's just because I like the look of the game more. Maybe the controls felt a lot better. And I'm not really a big fan of melee combat in a first-person game, but like Cyberpunk stuff felt pretty solid. Like the characters I've met are far more like the first guy you meet in Cyberpunk who like becomes your best friend.
Jackie.
Like
Jackie's fucking great.
He's so much more fucking interesting than any person I've come across in Starfield. Like so much more goddamn interesting. And I'm told Neon, the big city in Starfield that you find later on, is very Cyberpunk influenced. So, maybe I'm just secretly a Cyberpunk guy.
I put like 2 hours into Starfield, and honestly, I can go through the entire game. I think I'm just going to golden path it, just go straight mainline, straight to the end.
Yeah.
Just to say that I beat it, but I think as games have come out since Fallout 4 and since Skyrim, we've seen what games can be, and the Bethesda model is just not enough.
It feels dry. I think that's my issue with Bethesda or with Starfield. It feels really dry. Like if you like Fallout 4, if you like Skyrim, Starfield is going to be perfect for you because it's that game with a whole new way to explore things. Yeah. And what I played of it, I'm like, if you are into this, you're going to fucking love it. Like people who are giving it like 9s and 10s, I totally get why they would if this is their thing. Right. But I just don't think Bethesda RPGs are my thing. I really don't. I mean, I have them all on Game Pass. I could try a few more out, but I don't know if they really click with me, And if Gears is going in more of that kind of direction, I mean, the gameplay will be better, but I hope they don't do that. I hope they back off a little bit.
I just
I think the Halo Infinite campaign was a bit open worldy, or I think some people compare it to Far Cry a little bit.
I would hate Gears if it became Far Cry.
Yeah,
Gears has
because I don't even like Far Cry that much.
I like Far Cry. That's the thing. I like Far Cry. I love 3. I liked 4. 5 was kind of shitty. I haven't played the new one.
The one I want
like
to play
the
is
formula.
2. I hear 2 is really good.
Intense.
I hear 2 is great. Like 2, well, from what people have told me, like Far Cry 2, it almost represents like a way they could have went with the Far Cry series, but they did 3 instead, and that's what they've been going with. And the thing is with 3, I've never played 3, but I know the story beats of 3, I know the endings, and I hate them both. And because of that, I will never play the game, because I think both endings are bullshit.
I think 4 would be the Far Cry for you, because 4 is
I played 4. That's the one where you're in the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually did. I put quite a few hours into that, and I liked it. It's just I got fatigued. You know, open world fatigue?
Yeah.
I got it from Far Cry. Though I did the joke thing with Far Cry 4. I'm sure you know about it, where when he tells you to, like, oh, just wait here, I'll be right back.
And you just wait there for 15 minutes.
And then he's like, oh, yeah, let's go do the thing. So I've technically beaten it. But it's like, I like that. Like, there's stuff about Far Cry I find interesting. It's just the Ubisoft open world thing. Like, I can appreciate it in an Assassin's Creed game, but in a Far Cry game, it's just, I get really fatigued. I don't know why. I think it's just I like third-person games more than first-person games in general. So it's like, and in Assassin's Creed, you have more movement options. You know, like I can parkour around like random buildings all fucking day. Like I have no issue doing that. Or in 4, when you sail the seas, I love that stuff. But in Far Cry 4, you don't get those options. It just feels like if you've ever dropped into like a big Call of Duty multiplayer map and there's nobody around and you're just kind of roaming around, like looking at everything. I'm like, okay.
Oh, there's an outpost. Let me go take it out. What?
Yeah. Okay. You know.
So going back to Gears, I would definitely hate it if it went in that open world direction, because what the fuck are they going to do? Oh, these outcasts are over there trying to survive this locust attack. Go fight them. You go fight the locust. You kill them. Oh, my grandmother gave me this pendant, but I left it in the cave. Can you go get it? You go get the pendant, kill a bunch of fucking locusts, come back, give him the pendant. He gives you what? Maybe a mod for your Lancer that will get fucking taken away at some point, or you will lose the mod because a better mod comes up. Like, what do you do at that point? Like, do you make it like Borderlands? Like, no, that's not what I want. Like, I don't want
Gears should be a looter shooter.
No, and I don't want it to be pseudo open world like 5 was, because again, same shit. Oh, a downed helicopter. Let's go see what's there. A horde of fucking locusts. Like, oh, the power station needs to be turned on so we can use the radio. You go there, another fucking horde of locusts. Like, come on. Like, Gears doesn't work. Yeah, Gears doesn't pride itself on like exploration or lore or like all this like extra shit that a lot of AAA games have these days. Like, what makes Gears work is that it was such a solid, concise, linear game. And for a while there, it felt like linear games are going away, but I think they're starting to come back a little bit, especially with games like, say, nobody's finishing games. Nobody's finishing games.
And to say there's nothing wrong. No, go ahead.
Every fucking game is a 700-hour fucking massive RPG that nobody's going to finish. I have no idea how the fuck I finished Valhalla. No idea.
You didn't finish it, did you?
I did. I didn't finish the DLC, but I finished the main story.
Okay. Because I thought I remembered when you were talking about it a while ago, you said you had like put like 100 some hours into it. You looked at the main story and it said you were halfway done and you're like, fuck this, and turned it off. Or did you stick with it after that?
No, that was the DLC. The DLC was like, I had like 30 hours left to go on the DLC and I had put like 10 into it. I was like, I'm not doing this fucking shit.
That's fair. Yeah, it's gotten to that point where it just feels like almost every game is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Right? And they don't need to be.
We don't need it. Like, like you said,
there's nothing
Resident
wrong
Evil
with
4.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4. I was going to say Village as well. I haven't played Village, but I know Village is like a linear 8-hour game. And But also, like, you have games like Tears of the Kingdom, which is like a big, giant open world game that some people have fallen in love with and some other people have gotten fatigue of. I don't know if that's the Nintendo influence or not. That's another discussion.
I like I've talked and said a million times. I had a bunch of problems with Tears of the Kingdom, a bunch of problems, but I still think it's an excellent game, and it's a great game to play. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
But it's way too fucking big. It is massive. You have
but like
all
I
of
don't
Hyrule
hear
and then all of the fucking underground too, plus the Sky Islands. Like you have 3 whole fucking maps to explore.
Yeah, and it's like I don't hear people complain about the size of Tears of the Kingdom as much as other games, which I find interesting because it sounds like it's bigger than like an Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is already like a giant game in and of itself.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe the game design is handled better in there. I honestly don't know. I played a little bit of Tears, and it just wasn't. I was just like, I don't know if I'm ready for this huge, massive game. I will play it eventually because I did eventually get to. Yeah, because I eventually got to Breath of the Wild. I put a lot of time into that, and I did enjoy it. I don't think I'll ever play it again, but I enjoyed my time with it. So maybe I'll enjoy Tears when I eventually get to it. But like, unless you're like a Mario game, I don't see myself doing everything. You know, like those I get enjoyment out of getting. Like I got all 999 Power Moons. And
I loved Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, I did everything in that game. I loved every second of it. But you know, I'm a sucker for the 3D Mario games, so it is what it is. But Gears 5 going for like a giant, you know, big kind of game, I just don't think it needs that. Because like what makes Gears 1, 2, and 3 work as well as they do is that they're linear story-based games.
Mm-hmm.
And how Gears was made was to be that, really. Like that was what Cliff was going for. You know, it was just to make something a bit more cinematic and story-driven. And that's why they're still good. Like Gears 1 through 3 still hold up. You know, like I've thought about replaying Gears 3 because I really enjoyed my time with it.
Gears 3 is great. Even the outdated moments that fucking suck from them, like the fight against General Rom in the first game, they're still fine. They're not horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, they've aged better than some people would think. But
right?
like with Gears 5, like I've considered potentially just kind of on my own exploring those big areas just to see what's out there, just for my own curiosity. But I highly doubt there's that much really cool stuff. So I'm hoping 6 is closer to like a Hive Busters with maybe like you could do like a big story with it, because the ending of the game essentially implies that like Kate like destroys her mother's like locust like necklace or whatever, and she's just like, you know, we got to get to them first. So it feels like they're maybe going for a Gears like 2 kind of thing where they're going to go into, you know, like the Locust, like I guess headquarters or
that
whatever.
Was so fucking
like,
cool.
That ending was good. Yeah,
no. In Gears 2, when you're like going into where the locusts are and you see like the fucking drill pods just like falling into the fucking caverns, that shit was great.
Yeah, and maybe with 6, maybe that's what they're going to go for. Is like going there and trying to do something a bit darker and grittier, you know, being in the Locust underground. And you could maybe have some like slightly bigger areas with some little stuff, but like you don't have to overdo it. You know, like I honestly don't think 5 overdid it, but I know by the end when we got to that like kind of sandy area that for some reason reminded me of Spec Ops: The Line.
It did look very Spec Ops: The Line. I feel like
because it had like the sand through the windows and everything, and it just made me think of Captain Walker. You know,
that part could have been completely linear, and we wouldn't have missed anything.
It was missing a radio blasting like 60s rock tunes, but you know, that's okay.
Like just one open world area where pseudo open world area or whatever the fuck you want to call it is enough. You don't need 2, you don't need 3, you don't need to make the whole game a fucking open world thing, because
like it didn't even do the God of War 2018 thing where it's like that big area and then you have those offshoots.
See, and that's like, one of the major reasons why I don't want Gears to be open world like that, because you would have these amazing highs of fighting Thor in Ragnarok, right? And then the story would just come to a complete screeching halt because you had to go through the map to some other site to reunite two fucking giant jellyfishes so that they could have baby jellyfishes that open a bridge to go to some other fucking realm, right? Like, that is what I hate.
Yeah.
And then you stretch that out over 35 hours with the same combat, with no innovation, and I am fucking out. I don't care anymore. Right?
Yeah.
And I don't want that to happen to Gears because I
Neither
fucking
do
love
I.
Gears.
I love Gears too. It's still, as I've said before, it's my favorite Xbox franchise. Like, Gears 6 is a day one buy. I'm gonna play it. You know, I'm pretty sure you and me are gonna co-op it, and we'll probably talk about it on this show, but you know, it's just I hope 6, they right some of the wrongs with 5. Like, I don't think 5 is a bad game. It is. I've played so much worse than 5. It's ridiculous. But like if you listen to the 3DO show, I've played worse games than Gears 5. But Gears 5, I think I'll agree with you. It might be steering in the wrong direction.
Right.
And
like, story-wise, I feel like it's going in a good direction.
Gameplay-wise,
I don't think
the
it's
story's
going in the right
better
direction.
than ever. Yeah, I think the story's better than ever because, like, you're invested in Kate and you're invested in, you know, what's actually going on. Like, they found a way to integrate the new people without it feeling forced.
Right.
Which
and
is hard to do, especially in video games. It is so hard to introduce new characters into video game franchises without people just immediately shitting all over them. But say, like, you know, a complete 180, like the Professor Layton series, where they had the one game where it's starring his daughter. They just kind of like were like, oh, she's the main character now. Like, who cares about her dad, right? When it's like, he'd been the main character the whole time. Why are you just changing it? Like, they could have had, like, I always felt they should have did a game where it's, you know, it's Layton, and then, like, you know, his daughter's getting older, and he, like, say, like, he's retired from mysteries because he wants to raise his daughter, but, like, an old friend's like, hey, I really need you for this. This is like an emergency. And so, like, his daughter kind of tags along and becomes the new Luke almost. And then you could have their relationship do that, and eventually
evolve
she could take over for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that just seems stupid easy to do. But, you know, I'm not level 5. So, but Gears 5 did a really good job integrating the old and the new characters. So I'm genuinely invested in Kate's journey.
And to add to your point, Marcus' story felt like it was being sunset. Like, they were getting ready to just face him out and make him a background character. But with JD dying, you're reinvigorating his character, giving him a new purpose, and you're actually making it so that now I care what the hell's going on with Marcus, because I used to care for him. They were sunsetting him, and now I'm invested into his character development and seeing where else it can go. And that's great. That's fucking great. Not everybody knows how to do that or can do that like Gears 5 did.
Yeah. And also, he is invested in Kate.
Right.
Because I think he sees a lot of, like, you know, her going through her family, you know, anguish and all that. I think he sees something in her because, like, they share trauma, you know? How a lot of times people will, like, come together because they have, like, you know, shared trauma. And you could almost make Gears 6 like Kate and Marcus, like both of them trying to exercise their demon, like both of them exercising their demons, like Kate trying to finally, you know, remove herself from the locust hive mind for good. And then maybe Marcus trying to, you know, like helping her, thinking it'll escape the pain or maybe give him a new lease on life. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? That's not up for me to decide. But there's a lot of potential with Gear 6 in the story and hopefully in the gameplay, because they could reel it back from doing this weird stuff with 5. And I kind of hope they do, because they could have something really, really, really special with Gear 6. And I hope they do.
Now, to compare Gear 6 to something different. So we talked about how Tears of the Kingdom is just this fucking massive, ginormous thing of a game.
But it's made by Nintendo, so it's great.
Right. So so you have like hundreds of hours worth of potential gameplay in this game.
Yeah.
And then you have Pikmin 4, which is 35 hours of the same linear type of gameplay. And apart from being a Pikmin fan, it's done so well that I prefer these 35 linear hours of Pikmin over the hundreds of freedom hours that Tears of the Kingdom give me.
It's weird because isn't Pikmin 4 the biggest Pikmin game in the series?
Yes, it is.
Like there's a lot to do.
There's a shit ton to do.
Yeah.
And it is all well crafted. It's all perfectly well crafted. Like every single thing in the game that is put where it's put, it's because it serves a purpose. It's not like it's thrown there for you to figure out and do whatever the fuck you want and figure out your own fun. That to me is a whole lot better, a much better experience than, having this massive area that I can explore and all this wonder and magic and whatever that I don't give a fuck about. So
yeah,
if Gears, going back to Gears, like I said, if I have 35 hours of straight linear Gears, I would prefer that over 10 to 15 hours or hundreds of hours of fucking open world Gears. I don't want that.
I agree. Like I played the demo of Pikmin 4 and I loved it. It was, my experience with Pikmin is rather limited compared to you, but I've put enough. I mean, I've beat Pikmin 3 and I put some time into Pikmin 1. I haven't really touched 2, but I can tell from what I've played, 4 is easily the best one. It controls so well. There's so many like real quality of life improvements over the series, and when I play the demo, I was having a blast with it. And it's a really nice crafted experience. It's not the Minecraft thing, which I think these days, I feel like a lot of this open world stuff you could blame on Minecraft, because Minecraft was such a huge game in terms of popularity. I mean, it still is. And
wasn't Minecraft released in 2011?
Yes, but it started in beta.
Okay.
It was in beta in like 2009, 2010. In fact, it's the only game I've played before it was popular, because a friend of mine had it on a USB drive and he gave it to me because it was shareware at first. And he said like, hey, play this new game. It's really cool. It's called Minecraft. And it's the most I've ever played of the game. And I bounced off of it. And then, because it just wasn't really for me. And then like a year later, it blew up and was this huge thing. And the joy of Minecraft, or what people love about it, is you make your own fun. You just throw somebody in this world and you just kind of let them figure it out. Mm-hmm. And it works for Minecraft. It's such a simple idea. Like the whole game is incredibly simple, but it gives you the tools to figure it out. And it feels like Tears of the Kingdom and some other games are starting to do or have done a lot of that, like making your own fun kind of games.
Yeah. And it almost feels like a lot of games are a mixture between the Ubisoft open world formula and the Minecraft crafting shit. Can you imagine if in Gears
I'm so
War
sick of crafting in games. Can we get rid of crafting? Can we like ban crafting in like new games for the next like 10 years?
Right.
I am constantly sick of picking up random shit. And it's like, oh, save this for crafting. And then I find a table and it gives you the list of stuff you can craft, and you go through it and it's like, oh, that sounds interesting. Oh, but I'm missing like 2 of those things. It's like, oh, how do I find those? I don't know. You just find them. And by the time you find them, you don't give a shit anymore. So it's like, I don't care, man. I don't care.
You remember a few months ago.
Just make it a fucking Dragon Quest. Let me go to a shop, buy a sword, and I have a new sword, and I'm a happy guy.
Right.
Whacking shit.
You remember a few months ago when they announced like this Mayan warrior game, and it was like, oh, you get to experience the Mayan era and be a warrior, and you will get to hunt, and you will have a roguelike experience, and you will have crafting. And I was like, nope. I don't fucking care about this game.
I do not remember that, but that does sound like a not Chris game.
It's like things that I would enjoy in other places, but I know it's going to be done horribly wrong, so I don't want it.
It feels like they're just doing it because it's popular and not because they think it's a genuine gameplay element, I guess.
Final Fantasy 16 has crafting mechanics, right? But
Yeah.
whenever you're able to go do the crafting mechanics, if you can only like build a sword or build an armor set or some accessories, you can buy those accessories whenever you can make them. So if you don't have the items, you don't have to go fucking grind the items so you can make them. You can buy it. I feel like that's done right, because for somebody like me, if I didn't get the items for some fucking reason, I don't want to go back and collect them because I have other games to play, right? So if more
Japanese
games did
game
that,
design
I
once
would.
again.
Oh yeah, if more games did that, I would be happier. But no, Gears of War 6 is going to have breakable weapons. It's going to be a looter shooter. You're going to have to craft your own fucking Lancer. It's fucking garbage.
I'm going to put like 40 hate hours into that game if I have to. God damn it.
Because go to
as I was saying earlier,
Blazinski's house, beat the shit out of him, and drag him back to a coalition so he can make the next Gears.
he's like, I had nothing to do with this. Let me hang out with my hot streamer wife. But as I was saying earlier, like, you know, I was playing Starfield, right? And I kind of bounced off of that. And for a lot of the reasons we were saying about modern game design, and because of this guy, he got me to play some Crisis Core, and I've been playing that. And Crisis Core, I'm only an hour in, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's so simple, you know. Like, you can tell, like, it is a remake. I would say it's a remake.
Yeah, it's a remake.
But it's built off the bones of the PSP original. Like,
right.
Especially in the cutscenes, you can tell it's a PSP game at its core.
Mm-hmm.
But they fixed a lot of the, I'm assuming, issues with like the controls, because the control layout is so well refined, and it's so easy to like just do a normal attack combo, and then I just hold LB to like shoot a materia, you know? Like, and it's simple. It's like a refined Kingdom Hearts gameplay. Like, it's so simple, but it works. And Zach is such a goofus, you know, and I love him. And I'm really, I kind of know where the story's going already, but I'm going to enjoy the ride, you know?
That's so good.
And I wish more modern games were like this. Just kind of a shorter game where you just kind of enjoy the ride, baby.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just kind of coast. It's like Nomura's holding me in his arms. He's like, you may not fully understand, but I'll take you on a journey.
I really wish that Crisis Core would have taken itself a lot more serious than it does. I wish the acting direction and the voice actors and everything would have been less hammy, because there are some scenes in the game that are like, holy fuck, this is heavy. And the way that they're acted out and portrayed, you're like, why are they having such a good time while this bad shit is happening? But it's such a good fucking game.
Yeah. I mean, it took a long time for localizations to be good, I think. You know, I think they still kind of struggle in some instances. Like, not every localization can be, say, Yakuza Like a Dragon, where it's like perfect. Right. You know, so. But yeah, like Gears 5.
So do we want to end this? Any closing thoughts? Anything else you want to say about Gears 5?
I wish I liked it more, because I'm such a fan of the series, and I could see myself like maybe doing a new game plus on like a harder difficulty and giving it another try eventually. But when we were playing it, I was just thinking that this could turn into something like, it's weird. It could go from like one generic to another generic, but like not like the original Gears are, I think, considered generic because it kind of established that cover-based third-person shooter that existed throughout the PS3 into the PS4 generation, right? And now we're in an era where that's kind of gone. Like, that's not really that's not the big thing anymore. And so it feels like Gears is trying to stay with the trends and trying to do some more like open area stuff and trying to change some things around to make it, I guess, more hip and relevant. But I don't think it's really going to work for it overall. And Hivebusters kind of proves that, because Hivebusters is a really solid linear experience. So if 6 is more of a linear experience with maybe some like, you know, like a pinch of some Gears 5 ideas here and there, and maybe some fresh, there could be some interesting fresh ideas in there. Like, I still would love a Gears like kind of survival horror thing. Like, imagine like you lose all your weapons for a little bit and you have to sort of escape like a berserker or like a warden, and you aren't armed in any way, Like,
Right.
that could be a really compelling experience.
That would be good.
And I would love to see them try that. So who knows? I don't hate Gears 5, but I mean, if you want to play the series, I mean, I would tell people just start from 1, just work your way through them.
Yeah, just
They're
work
all
your way
pretty
through the whole
short.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they won't take you that long.
So for Gears 5, for me personally, I think it's a wasted potential of a game. All of the linear parts of the game sometimes feels like classic Gears, but they don't fully get there because the enemy encounters don't feel as well crafted or as smart as they did in the previous Gears games. Now, the open world aspect, I absolutely fucking hate it. Every single second of the open world segments, I hated them. And thinking about it now, JD dies, right? You get this giant revelation of JD having done this fucking war crime, basically. And then you have his friends that don't want to have anything to do with him. They kind of make up, and then he dies because there was no point for their relationship to kind of start mending or for them to work out what happened that made them feel that way. No, JD's just immediately dead. And, it kind of, being open world, I feel like that killed whatever sort of relationship or revelation would have come out. If it would have been linear, I feel like that would have been handled better because you would have been forced to interact with these characters. There would have had to have been conversations between them, not just, we're on a skiff. Oh, I was a fucking gear. My dad was a gear. Whatever the fuck. Oh, encounter. Let's go see what's going on. Like, it just feels like they wasted so much fucking potential in this game. And while some things did work out very well, others just completely feel like they fell apart. I say play this game if you're going to play through the entire series. If you're just going to play it on its own, it's not going to be a very great time. Because the series have some very, very fucking high highs, and this is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag, but at its best, it is fucking Gears. And we did have some moments where it was good, and
Right.
it still works for what it is. But hopefully the experimentation that they were doing, if they can refine it and just kind of improve upon it, I think it could work out for them. But, I mean, who knows? I'm assuming the Coalition are working on it because the rumors I've heard was they were going to do like a smaller new IP before Gears 6, but I guess that's been canceled, I think. So now
Bulletstorm 2. Bulletstorm 2. Bulletstorm 2.
That'd be interesting.
I would fucking love
that.
Bulletstorm 2.
Or even something completely brand new and different from, like, give them like their hi-fi rush moment where they do something
Right.
completely left
Like
field.
something out of left field entirely.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. And
Some
I know
cozy farming
Microsoft
sim.
locust farming sim, but because Microsoft has been letting their studios make different things, like Tango doing Hi-Fi Rush, or giving the Forza Horizon team Fable. They're letting them kind of or Pentiment, Obsidian doing Pentiment, so they let them experiment. So with Gear 6, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets announced next year. I could see it, like, say, at the Xbox Showcase in June of 24. They do, like, the whole, oh, it's coming, everybody.
Shit, we got what, a couple of months left in this year? What, like 5 months?
I don't think they'll announce it this year. I think they'll announce it next year. If they announce it, I could see it next year. A Game Awards drop would be cool, but at the same time, it's like, I still want to hear about Perfect Dark. I want to see more Fable. I'm curious to Clockwork Revolution. That game looks really cool. Like, there's a lot of stuff.
Bioshock looking one, right?
Yeah, that game looks cool. It makes me want to play the Bioshock series. There's a lot that's cooking in the Xbox, the Xbox corner that I'm interested in. So you could throw Gear 6 on top of that if you want, but it's one of those games that I think we all just assume is coming. So, like, they don't have to announce it until it's ready to go. We all just assume it'll happen eventually.
Right.
So,
Right. So
but yeah.
Final score. What did you give it?
A 7.5 out of 10.
And Hivebusters?
Hivebusters was an 8.
Yep.
That was good. That was good. I'm gonna solo run that one of these days. I'll probably bump the difficulty to get like a real harder. Yeah. Because Gears games are fun to play when they're like harder. Because even the earlier games, even if you put it on normal, they kick your ass. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Whereas these games don't. The newer ones don't kick your ass as much.
They're just throwing annoying enemies at you the entire time.
Mm-hmm. But I will say the Gears 5 Steelbook looks pretty neat. Like the front cover is like Kate, and there's like a collage with all the characters kind of running down, and then on the back they have the blue cog.
That's so fucking cool.
Yeah, that does look really cool. So I went out of my way to get the Steelbook for a Game Pass game. That shows you how much I like Gears.
All right, so that's it for this episode on Gears of War 5. I think next we're going to do...
Galo, right?
Right, Halo or Resident Evil 5. We got to figure out which one. And we'll go from there.
Yeah,
thank
or
you
we
for
should
being
do the
on
Fable
Thrak.
series.
The Fable series?
Yeah.
You can do that one on your own, dude. I don't think I'll
buy a Kinect and play that Fable game.
No, God. Thrak, anything you want to plug before we end the show?
Well, if you like my dulcet tones, catch me on the 3DO Experience every week, where we talk about random 90s games and occasionally shoot the shit when I'm half asleep and can't be bothered. But other than that, you can find me in the Novel Console Discord or various other Discords. And I have a guest appearance on Tales of the Backlog that should be coming out very soon. So
I think it comes out
for that.
So this is going to come out Monday.
Okay, so it should be, I think, next week.
Same week. Yeah,
Same week, maybe. Yeah,
probably Wednesday. You're going to hear
Yep.
Thrak talking about Wario World and Tales of the Backlog.
And eventually, I will be covering Lost Odyssey with our boy Rick over at Pixel Project.
Oh man, recording with Rick is such a great time, dude. It's so much fun.
And especially me and him talking about a big old JRPG, a big old one. Yeah.
Oh man, and Rick has opinions on RPGs. He is fantastic, dude. He is so great.
Yes. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about the real Final Fantasy 13.
All right. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Games and Stuff. Do you want to say goodbye to everyone, Thrak?
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone.